The day you drove your new car off the lot, the clock was already running. Not on your loan, not on your warranty. On the 4 tires sitting underneath a vehicle you just paid $40,000 for. Those tires were not chosen for you. They were not chosen for safety or longevity or wet road performance. They were chosen by a purchasing committee that never intended for you to keep them. And by the time you figure that out, you will have already paid for it twice. In this investigation, we are going to expose the handshake deal between automakers and tire manufacturers that put defective rubber under every new vehicle in America. We are going to show you exactly how they used a brand name you trust to sell you a product that brand is embarrassed to put in its retail stores. And we are going to reveal what they engineered into your tires before you ever touch the steering wheel. Because what is underneath your car right now is not a tire. It is an expiration date with a logo on it. Here is something Ford will never print on the window sticker. When Ford contracts Goodyear to supply tires for a new F-150, Ford does not call Goodyear and say, "Give me your best tire." Ford calls Goodyear and says, "Give me a tire that meets our price point, passes our noise test, and makes the car feel good for the first 12 minutes of a dealership test drive." Goodyear, staring at a contract worth hundreds of millions of dollars, says yes. Then they engineer a tire that will never appear on any retail shelf. A tire you cannot buy anywhere once it wears out. A tire that exists solely to win the sale and then disappear. These are called OEM tires, original equipment tires. And they are a completely different product from the tire with the same name sitting at Discount Tire. The Michelin Primacy on your Camry and the Michelin Primacy on the store shelf share a name and a logo. The rubber compound is different. The internal construction is different. The treadwear rating is different. You are reading Michelin, and your brain is filling in 100 years of racing heritage and safety testing. The automaker knows exactly what your brain is doing. That trust transfer is the entire strategy. To understand what they actually built, you need to understand one number: treadwear rating. The higher the number, the longer the tire lasts. A quality aftermarket tire in a standard passenger car size will carry a treadwear rating of 500, 600, sometimes higher. Most OEM tires that come on new vehicles carry ratings between 280 and 400. Some go lower. You are leaving the dealership on tires that are mathematically programmed to wear out in half the time of any tire you will ever buy as a replacement. That is not a coincidence. That is the business model. The soft rubber compound they use to make your test drive feel planted and quiet is the same compound that is grinding itself away on every commute. They made the car feel expensive for 20 minutes. You will pay for that feeling for the next 3 years. But before it wears out, it has another job to do. The fuel economy number on your window sticker was tested on the exact tires that came on the vehicle. Automakers know this. So OEM tires are also engineered with extremely low rolling resistance, which reduces the energy the engine needs to move the car, which inflates the EPA rating during the test cycle. On real roads with real loads, that advantage evaporates. But the 32 miles per gallon on the sticker already did its job. It already closed the sale. You bought the car partly on that promise. The tires that manufactured that number will be in a landfill before you hit 30,000 miles. This is not engineering. It is theater. They built a prop that performs once, gets thrown away, and takes your money with it. You cannot talk about this without talking about the moment America already learned this lesson and forgot it. In the summer of 2000, Ford Explorers were rolling over on highways across the United States. People were dying. The investigation led straight to the Firestone ATX tires that Ford had spec'd as original equipment on the Explorer. Firestone and Ford had known about tread separation problems for years. Both companies had data. Both companies had complaints from overseas markets where the failures were already documented. But the contract was profitable, the relationship was valuable, and so the tires stayed on the vehicles. 171 people died, 14 million tires were recalled. Congress held hearings, executives testified. The industry promised it would never happen again. Then the purchasing committees went back to work, and the same handshake deal resumed under different names, with different compounds and different failure modes that are quieter and slower and spread across millions of individual tire shops where nobody is connecting the dots. The lesson of Firestone was not learned. It was managed. Now, your truck goes into a tire shop at 25,000 miles with tread wear that should not be possible on a vehicle that young. The technician shakes his head. He tells you these OEM tires just go fast. He is not wrong. He just does not tell you it was planned. The automaker already recorded the sale. The tire manufacturer already fulfilled the contract, and now you are standing at a counter being quoted $800 for 4 replacement tires on a car that cost you $40,000. That replacement purchase was always the destination. The OEM tires were just the road that got you there. But the worst version of this is not the fast-wearing passenger car tire. The worst version is what they did to drivers who bought premium vehicles. BMW, Mercedes, Audi. These manufacturers eliminated the spare tire from most of their lineups and replaced it with run-flat tires. The pitch was clean, no spare needed. Get a puncture and drive 50 miles to a shop at reduced speed. Convenient, modern, efficient. Here is what they did not put in the brochure. Run-flat tires are dramatically stiffer than conventional tires. That stiffness is what allows them to hold the car without air. It also transmits every road imperfection directly into the cabin with a harshness that drivers notice immediately and complain about for the life of the vehicle. And when a run-flat tire picks up a nail, the repair that would cost $15 on a conventional tire is impossible. Run-flats cannot be plugged. The tire goes in the trash. A replacement run-flat for a BMW 3 Series costs between $300 and $500 per tire. BMW then built the wheel wells without space for a spare. There is no opting out. You cannot switch to conventional tires without a custom kit. They removed the spare tire, replaced it with an expensive, irreparable substitute, then built the architecture of the car around it, so that going back requires deliberate effort and additional money. That is not a product upgrade. That is a subscription, disguised as engineering. So what is actually happening on the road right now? Independent testing organizations are finding that OEM tires, particularly those optimized for fuel economy and ride comfort, are failing wet braking benchmarks, that any consumer replacement tire in the same category passes comfortably. The difference between stopping in 120 feet and stopping in 160 feet is not a statistic. It is the length of the hood of the car in front of you. You paid for automatic emergency braking. You paid for stability control. You paid for every computer system the manufacturer could fit into the dashboard. Then they handed you 4 tires that undermine every one of those systems the moment the road gets wet. The computer can only work with the grip the tire provides, and the tire was not chosen for grip. It was chosen for the test drive. Here is the verdict. The tires underneath your new car were selected by a purchasing committee that had one objective: make the car sell, not make the car safe, not make the tire last. Make the car feel right for 12 minutes in a dealership parking lot, and then get out of the way so the replacement purchase cycle can begin. You bought a vehicle with advanced safety systems and factory-installed rubber that was never designed to support them. You bought a brand name that was engineered down to a contract price and then used against your own trust. They sealed the hood so you cannot fix the engine. They locked the software so you cannot service the computer. And they put expiring tires on the car, so the first thing that fails sends you straight back to spending. You have two choices. Replace the OEM tires at 10,000 miles before they take your safety with them when they go. Or buy used, buy old, and buy a vehicle where the tires on it were chosen by a previous owner who already made this mistake so you do not have to. The car was never finished when they sold it to you. The tires are the proof.